Hi developers, in this video we'll learn how to create the CI and CD pipeline for Xamarin Android application using Visual Studio Team Services VSTS. For the first part, which is creating the CI or the build pipeline, we'll get the Xamarin Android source code from GitHub repository. Then we'll get all the dependencies including the NuGet packages. We'll build the application, execute the unit tests, then we'll publish the generated APK into a drop folder, which will be used during the second phase, which is the release or the continuous deployment pipeline, which will take that APK and then publish it either to Google Play or to App Center to a private set of users. We typically start by creating a new Xamarin Forms application. Here I have done that and I have published my app on my GitHub account. Here I have created an application called Perfect Buddy, which calculates the BMI index for you. You can fork this repo on your own GitHub repo. So after that I'll go to VSTS and create a new project. I'll call it Demo Xamarin Android. Click create. Then here I start by creating the build pipeline. For that I select build, then click new definition, and here we'll start by defining the GitHub account. So we need to connect to that account. For that, here VSTS is asking me to authorize to use GitHub, because VSTS needs to communicate with GitHub. Actually here GitHub will notify VSTS that it have a new version of the code available. That will be done in every commit. So let's click authorize using OAuth. This will bring this window in order to authorize to GitHub. Once I established the connection using my GitHub account, login and password, here I can choose the repository I'm using. So the name of my repository here is Perfect Buddy. I search for that and here I select it. Then click continue. After that, here we can select the template. We have with VSTS we have multiple templates for multiple platforms and languages. Here we have one for Android using Java, but I want Android using Xamarin. So I select this one here, Xamarin.Android. If you are using iOS, you have the template for it. We select Xamarin Android, and the template contains the process. With the process, we can configure the agent queue. The agent queue is the agent that will run the pipeline. Then we move to the phase 1, and here we have the first task, Xamarin component. This one is deprecated and it's already disabled because typically it's not used anymore in Xamarin development, because all the Xamarin component store are now moved to NuGet packages. So now we use NuGet packages instead of this. So we can get rid of this task. So I'll go and remove it. Then we'll have the first task to use NuGet with the specified version. So this will install NuGet on the agent on the machine. Then we'll execute NuGet restore. This command will bring all the NuGet dependencies used in our project. Then we'll go and build the Android project, and here you see that we need to specify the path to the Android CS proj. And here we are using this syntax right here with the wildcard in order to search for any file that have the extension .csproj and the name containing the keyword droid. Another option here is to specify the direct path to the CS proj. So we can here select the inside my repo, we can select the path to my Android project. This way I'm sure it will always select this project. Then the next task is to build the solution or to build the test project. In my repo that I have published on GitHub, I have a project for the unit tests. I have another one for UI, but I won't use it right here. I'll just use the one for the unit tests, which will test my view models. So here I need to specify the path to that unit test project, and here it will look for any file with this CS project extension and that contains the keyword test with T lower cases. So make sure you either use the T lower cases, but here it's not the case for me. I use the T upper cases. So what I can do is either switch to T upper cases, or I can do better by specifying the direct path to my unit test project. Let's move to the next task right here, which is signing and aligning the APK. This one will take the APK generated by the build task, then it will sign it and align it. If we want to do that, then we need to specify the path to the APK, which is by default this one right here, and that was specified by the build, so it should use the same path. If we want to sign the APK, then we just need to enable this option, and here we need to use the key store file, which have all the credentials for the key store, for the alias and for the password. From where we can get that key store file, we can generate it using Visual Studio or Visual Studio for Mac or the command line, and here I have included it in my repo. That's not a good practice to do because that file should remain secret, but for the sake of the demo I just included it in my public repository. So here, if you go to the Android project, to this file, then you see here we have the key store file. I'll go and download it, then I'll upload it to VSTS because it is required from this task to know where the key store file is. So typically we don't change it, so we can just upload it just one time. But to be able to use it, VSTS will need also the key store password and the alias. Let's start by the key store password. That's also a secret value, so instead of pasting it right here in clear, we'll go and define it as a variable, and to do that we'll go to the variables window. Then here we see that we have some other predefined variables. Use it in the pipeline. Here I create a new variable. I'll give it a name. Let's call it key store password. Then the value, which will be the value of that key store. Here I use it this password right here, and if I want to make it secret, I just need to click this icon, change variable type to secret. Clicking that icon will hide the value of my variable forever, so anyone won't be able to see it from my development team. Now if I go back to my task, then here I can use the value of that variable through this syntax, the parentheses, then I paste the name of the key. I'll do the same for the alias, so I'll define a new variable. I'll call it keystore.alias, and then use the value that I have defined for the alias, which is the same value defined in my key store file. Make sure you use the same. If you use my key store file, then you have the two values in your eyes right here. For the key password, I use the same value as the key store password. Then here we have another option for aligning the APK file. I just need to sign it. After that, we can publish the artifact. This task will take the signed and aligned APK and copy it to a drop folder. Why we do this? Because the agent, when it will finish executing this pipeline, It will delete all files inside of it, including the APK file. So to save it, we'll go and save it inside a drop folder. The next task is test using Visual Studio App Center. This one can execute the UI tests. So in my GitHub account, I have some UI tests. We can execute them through this task. I won't do this for this demo. Then we can go to the next step right here, which is to deploy using App Center. In order to send it to a predefined set of users, let's say we want to send it to our beta testers, for example. I want to do that right here, and I remove also this one, but I go and use it inside my release pipeline. So I will go back to it later. Let's go now save into queue and use the hosted VS 2017 to build that one, and let's see the output logs window. You can see that here the pipeline has started running. It initializes the agent to provision the agent, then it will get the source code files by executing the git clone command in order to get the source files from GitHub to the local build agent. And once all that pipeline finishes executing, you can see that here everything was done successfully. It takes 8 minutes almost. We have created the build pipeline. Now we want to create the release pipeline, which will take the APK generated during the build and deploy it to App Center. To do that, I'll go to build and release, then create a new definition, and we select one of those templates for deploying web apps or mobile apps. So here I'll start with an empty process because I don't find the exact template I need. And here I can start by specifying the artifact, and this one is from where I will get my APK file. So I select build because I want to get it from the previous pipeline, which is the build pipeline. So I'll get the output of the build pipeline, which is inside the drop folder. Then here I select from my previous build, I select the CI that I have created because we can create multiple CI pipelines. So I select the one right there. Then I click add. So the drop folder will be inside this one right here. Then we will run the task inside this environment. So we don't have any task right here defined because we have created an empty process. So we look for a task called App Center. Here we do have the two tasks for the test. Here I'll take the distribute, which will get the APK and send it to my beta testers. To configure this task here, actually we need to connect to App Center because this task will get the APK and send it to App Center. So we need to get a connection to App Center, and we need to use OAuth in order to get that connection. Here, make sure you have an account on App Center. Here I already have one. And inside the distribute window right here, I have the default collaborators team, and they have created a second team. I call it beta testers. You can invite people with their email, so whenever they have a new version of the app created, they will get an email telling them, hey, you have a new app and here is the link to download the Android or iOS application. So let's create that connection to App Center. Here I'll need just to specify the connection name. I call it App Center connection. Then I need to specify the API token. From where I can get it, if I go to App Center, to my account right here, account settings, then go down to API tokens, I can generate a new token. Let's give it a name. Let's say this token is the one I'm using it for my demo on VSTS. Then I want to get the full access. I generate the token, and here it is, my token. which will authorize VSTS to send APK to App Center. Paste it right here, click OK, and now I'm connected. After that, we need to connect to the right application that we have created and the right account. For that, we need the two values, username and app identifier. If I go to the application that I have created on App Center, we can see in the URL right here, we do have the two values for the name of the profile and the name of the app inside App Center. I'll copy this URL, then paste it right here, and make sure to remove the apps between the two values. Then the binary file path right here is the path to get the right APK to be published. If I go here to this link right here, I can have access to the drop folder, and from the drop folder I have already the generated files. I select my APK file, click OK. Then when my users will get an app in an email, I want to have some release notes in that email, and that's what I'm gonna say, new release v2.0 for example. The destination ID, if I left this empty, then VSTS will send the app to the collaborators group. If I want to send it to the beta testers group, then I need to get the destination ID. I can get it if I go to my group, then click on the settings icon, and the destination ID is the one right here. For me, I want to send to the collaborators group, so I can keep it empty. Let's now save and let's create the release in order to see the APK going to my collaborators group. Let's see the output window to make sure that the pipeline runs successfully. So here the agent is provisioned and everything was run successfully. So now we should see that from App Center we have a new app version available, and it was sent to my collaborators. So if I go to collaborators releases, then I can see that just now I have a new APK pushed to App Center and pushed to my collaborators group. It was sent to those two people in that group. Until now, what we have done is that we have created the build and the release pipelines, and we ran them manually by selecting the buttons execute. Now I want to automate this process, so with each commit I want to run the build and release. For that, I'll go to my build and go to triggers, and right there enable continuous integration. I do the same for the release pipeline, but in the release we don't have a triggers menu, but I can do the same using the pipeline window right here where we have the continuous deployment trigger. I click on that icon and this will bring this window right here, so I enable continuous deployment trigger. I click save, and now to test if everything works well, I can go to create a commit on my source code. So I'll go back to GitHub and try to make some changes, and then I should see the build and the release runs automatically after that change in my code source. For now, we can distribute the APK using the App Center, but what if I want to go through the Google Play Store? For that, I'll go and add another environment. Here I can either add or clone an environment, so I'll add a new one, and then I'll call this environment my QA environment, quality assurance. I'll save this change, then I'll go and rename my first environment to be, let's say, the dev environment. So for dev, we'll push the APK to App Center, but for a QA, after it's validated by our internal users, we'll go and push it to a larger number of users, those can get the app not through emails, through App Center, but through the Google Play distribution channel. So here I'll add, I look for the publish to Google Play. So you need to install it if you don't see it right here through the extensions available on VSTS Marketplace. You just need to click the button Get It Free, and then you will see it in your search here. I'll add that a task, and this one will take the APK and publish it to my Google Play account. Here with Google Play we have multiple tracks, so either we'll choose the alpha, beta, production, or a rollout. So this go from a smaller group of users to a bigger or to a larger group of users. Maybe here I want to target my beta testers. For that I choose beta. Finally, if I want to go to production and make my application available publicly through the Google Play Store, then I can add another environment, we call it production, and add the same task, publish to Google Play, with the option of setting the track to production. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and thank you.